and welcome to Write Volume's Pride History More. Write Volume's goal is to give diverse voices an outlet for expression, which we have been doing through our anthology series. In order to celebrate Pride Month, we decided to give people a Pride history present. Here's a quick intro to a writer you may not know, but maybe you should. Essex Hemphill. Essex Hemphill was born in Chicago on April 16, 1957. He was the oldest of 5 kids and raised in Southeast Washington. He began writing poems at the age of 14 and studied English at the University of Maryland in 1975. He was there for 1 year before going to LA for 4 years, then returning to DC in 1981, where he was at the heart of the African-American gay and lesbian literary and performance renaissance during the 1980s and the 1990s. With Wayson Jones, his roommate during his year at the University of Maryland, Hemphill began performing his poetry, and the readings grew from coffeehouses to small local theaters, then to the Kennedy Center, New York, and London. Poet, editor, and activist, Hemphill's poems voiced the challenges of being Black, gay, and young in the midst of the AIDS epidemic. He examined how sexuality is impacted upon and influenced by racism, along with the many layers of oppression, as he sought to, in his own words, integrate all of my identities into a functioning self instead of accepting a dysfunctional existence as a consequence of my homosexual desires. Hemphill died of complications from AIDS November 4th, 1995, at the age of 39. Some of his works include Earth Life, which was published in 1985, and Conditions, which was published in 1986, and they are self-published chapbooks of his first collections of poems. Ceremonies, Prose and Poetry, which was published in 1992 and is his first full-length collection, which won the National Library Association's Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual New Author Award. His writing is also in the anthologies Gay and Lesbian Poetry in Our Time, published in 1986, Brother to Brother in 1991, and Life Sentences, Writers, Artists, and Age in 1993. Hemphill's writing is also featured in the films Tongues United from 1989, Looking for Langston in 1988, and Black Is, Black Ain't, 1994. Now let's read some excerpts from his works. The first poem, American Wedding from 1992, I'll read from starting in the middle. They don't know we are becoming powerful. Every time we kiss, we confirm the new world coming. What the rose whispers before blooming, I vow to you. I give you my heart, a safe house. I give you promises other than milk, honey, liberty. I assume you will always be a free man with a dream. This poem is hopeful and like a hidden secret. When he says, what the rose whispers before blooming, I vow to you. For me, this is the idea of the vulnerability and the encouragement to transform and bloom into your true self. I give you promises other than milk, honey, and liberty. This to me means we should hope for more than just the basics for survival, especially when he says, I assume you will always be a free man with a dream. Hemphill ends the poem with, long may we live to free this dream. This to me is like a mantra of hope for the future. It's not just being a long life, but of freeing our dreams. The next poem, Commitments, is in the anthology Brother to Brother and begins with, I will always be there when the silence is exhumed, when the photographs are examined, I will be pictured smiling among the sibling, parents, nieces, and nephews. The imagery to me here is stark contrast to the previous poem, and Hemphill is able to convey this in only a few words. When the silence is exhumed, when the photographs are examined, I will be pictured smiling. I get the feeling of cold and distance, and then in the middle of the poem we read, in the photos, the smallest children are held by their parents. My arms are empty, or around the shoulders of unsuspecting ants, expecting to throw rice at me someday. It becomes clear the expectations he feels placed on him to get married, thrown rice at, and have kids in the traditional hetero sense. Hemphill ends the poem with, I am the invisible sun. In the family photos, nothing appears out of character. I smile as I serve my duty. His words are haunting and encapsulates the ideas of playing a role, the inability to be your true self, and the hopelessness of the pressure family and our society places upon us. The last poem I will read is called Visiting Hours. The government pays me $9,000 a year to protect the East Wing, so I haunt it. Visiting hours are over, the silent sentry is on duty, an electric eye patrols the premises. I'm just here, putting my mouth on the place. Modigliani whispers to Matisse. Matisse whispers to Picasso. I kiss the rose in my pocket and tip easy through the tomb of thieves. I'm weighted down with keys, flashlight, walkie-talkie, a gun. I'm expected to die if necessary, protected European artwork that robbed color and movement from my life. I'm the ghost in the capital. I did Vietnam. My head is rigged with landmines, but I keep cool, waiting on every other Friday, kissing the rose, catching some trim. I'm not protecting any more Europeans with my life. I'll give this shit in here away before I die for it. Fuck a Rembrandt. And if I ever go off, you'd better look out, Mona Lisa. I'll run through this gallery with a can of red enamel paint and spray everything in sight like a cat in heat. Yes, his words are powerful, sometimes playful and expressive. And lucky for us, he has a lot more works available for us to read. This has been a Right Volume Pride History More, and there are many more Pride History presents if you look. Feel free to follow Right Volumes on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or check out our website at www.rightvolumes.com. Thank you.